Okay, and I think I am live. All right, so I hope you're having a wonderful day and evening. Um, my name is Keisha of New World Mind and Spirit, and if you are new to my channel, I am a certified hypnotic coach, and I'm going to definitely be trying to make video posts more often when I try to come on at least once a week. It is just my goal, my aim to be able to inspire you and to be able to uplift you, coach you into making and creating astounding life change in your life. I am all about change. I'm all about getting us to transform our lives by transforming ourselves. I think change is probably one of the most desired commodities in life. There's always something that we want differently in our lives. There's always something that we want to be able to change that with around us in our life, change the experiences that we're having in life, and I am all about getting that. That's my expertise, my life path, and I also believe that change is possible. Huge, big change is possible. However, it always starts from the inside. So, in order to change our outside, we really need to work on changing ourselves primarily. So, I'm hoping you're having a wonderful week. We're halfway through it. And I want to really talk about today work of our lives, life work. And this is something that people often come up and ask, like, how can they find the work of their heart, the work of their soul, the work that they're put here to do? And I like to really make these videos kind of following the lunar calendar. To me, following the path of the moon is something that is extremely fun for me. It just makes a lot of sense, and it's really kind of gives us a nice schedule for really taking the focus on different aspects of our life. And following the lunar calendar, we have a full moon coming up. The full moon in Leo, and this the sign of Leo to me, and especially the full moon moving into the sign, is to me a time of creativity. It's a time of really embracing fun, embracing what kind of flows from us naturally, and just letting that kind of express itself and allowing that to come out. And it's definitely about leaving behind sort of a creative legacy in a way, something that kind of comes from that unique fire that is within you and flows outwards and sort of leaves a legacy on the earth. And that to me is an excellent thing to kind of tap into when we talk about how to find work that really lights you up, that really makes you soar and sing, and that gets you up in the morning. And I believe that this is something that is a huge, um, I'm going to say a huge topic. I'm going to say it is something that is an important topic. I am hesitant to call it a problem because I think that many of us don't see that as a problem, especially in your current life. We have become so accustomed to having work that is doesn't really light you up, but is enough. Work that is just enough to pay your bills, that gives you, just enough that you have reason to get up in the morning, just enough to give you a sense of I want to say belongingness. Um, there's something actually very, very uniting whenever we kind of gripe about our jobs and how we joke half seriously about we might have 500 more days, more weeks, years of this grind ahead of us until we can finally retire. And I think that can be a very tribal, unifying thing. It's something that we can all relate to. And it's something that is very, um, very cohesive, very uniting in a way. So even though we're not happy, and even though it's not something that we're proud of, even though we have a job that doesn't really excite us or light us up in a way, it can be very unifying to kind of fit in with the masses. Most people don't have that. Most people have a job that is just their job, and they put up with it for the times that they have to, perhaps moving throughout the week, and then they live for that weekend, they live for the holiday, they live for the vacation, and then they cry and are in a really bad mood when they have to come back. And I feel like that's a very common existence. And we learn to accept that, and we go through life many, many years and learn to accept that. And oftentimes we turn off that voice that's in the back of our heads that tells us that we're meant for more, that we're here for more. And usually it eventually will speak up again. And often this voice can't be quieted for our entire lives. It often will take a reckoning closer to the end of our natural life cycle. We will, and only then sometimes realize, well, I wish I would have reached for more. I wish I would have spent more time to pursue something else. I wish I would have really pushed myself and really sought out, a career of my soul. I really wish I would have found out what I'm here for. And I think that's a tragedy for us to have to get to that point, to have to wait until we either are at the end of our life cycle or are faced with a scary event that causes our lives to flash before our eyes before we finally recognize that voice and take a look at what we're doing. And we have to really absolutely take a look at our lives, this period of time that we have on this earth that is a gift. It is absolutely a gift. And what are we doing with that time? And though we certainly are free to spend it in any way that we want, we are certainly allowed to keep a job that, even though it doesn't light you up, it fulfills a purpose. That is your choice, absolutely. But I feel like as though most of us, if we have the option, when we think about it, and especially, if when it comes to those last days, would prefer to have spent their time in a different way. Because at the end of the day, all of this time that you're giving your job is your life energy. It is your ultimate resource, your time, your energy, your focus. That is the essence of you. You're giving your essence to your work. So I think that it should absolutely be something that is a get that you give the best of you, that it should be deserving of you. Whenever we are giving our labor, it is going to be an equal, an exchange. And I do believe that it's important that when you're giving of your time, of your resources, of your energy, of your essence, you should give to someone who is deserving of it, to something that is worthy of it. And this is something that, unfortunately, a lot of us have gotten accustomed not to doing. And there's so many different factors for that. Of course, whenever we really normalize this sort of situation that we have right now, where people your job is just not meant to be something that is really lights you up, that fills your soul. It's just meant to pay the bills, and that's it. When that becomes normalized, whenever you want to break from what's normal, there definitely is going to be a lot of discomfort, a lot of fear that is going to come up. And that is at the bottom, at the foundation of why more people don't really seek out work that lights them up, what they're excited to do, is fear. The fear that that doing something different will cause. And this fear of leaving the well-beaten path, the path that all the rest of the tribe is taking, that worn down, dusty path, and heading off and making your own path and doing something a little different, is an old primitive fear. It's an old subconscious fear. And This is something that has kind of been hardwired into us as human beings. It's an old way for our subconscious mind to keep us safe. And the thing about this, though, is this the notion of safety that this part of your brain kind of locks you into it at this point in time is, what, thousands, tens of thousands of years old, this mechanism in our brain. And it no longer has the same value as it once did. Back when we were living much more primitive lifestyles, and we had to hunt and forage for our food, and we weren't sure where the next meal was going to come from, when there were creatures that could eat you right around the corner easily, stone throw away, running around rampantly. That fear mechanism that always kicks in whenever you do something different, that actually had value. The world was much more primitive, wild. It was much more of a feat simply to stay alive. Simply finding your next meal and whatnot was a high thing to aspire to. Our world has changed drastically. Society has changed drastically. We are no longer living on a planet overrun with predators. It is much easier to be able to get and guarantee your next meal. You probably know very much where your next meal is coming from. You probably are fairly certain that you are going to be able to, hang in there, survive, not get attacked, not get eaten for the next at least 72 hours, for example. That was never a guarantee. So my point in bringing up this fear that's in our mind is we are still living with the same sort of obedience to the fear mechanism that kicks in. And yet what is protecting us from no longer really exists for most people. And not only that, but our aspirations have changed considerably because of the general quality of life has improved over time. We're finding that most people, their highest aspiration is not just to survive. Their highest aspiration is not just to live another 3 days. For most of us, we aspire to much more than that now. So we have to allow ourselves to be able to leave that well-worn, beaten path in order to find what we aspire to. And whenever we think of the things that we truly want in life, these things usually require us to do something different. They require us to break away from what is usually done. And whenever you break away from what's usually done, whenever you break away from what the rest of society is doing, from what you've been taught by the rest of society to do, from what all your friends and family have always done, that fear is going to kick in. It's a survival mechanism that is going like, what are you doing? It's going to start beeping in the back of your head. It's going to be like saying pretty much that there's tigers over there. There's mountain lions over there. There's grizzly bears over there. Don't do it. But of course, we no longer live in that place where these grizzlies are constantly waiting to make a snack out of us every 2 feet. Things are a little bit different. So it's really important to, number one, recognize fear whenever we want to do something different, whenever we're wanting to change our happiness, and to be aware of it. When we're aware of it, we can really look it dead in the eye in the full light of day and question what it is that we're starting to get a little bit, hyperventilating about. Okay. And another thing that whenever we do kind of talk about wanting to pursue something that really excites you, wanting to head towards a job and a career and a path that really lights you up, how do you find it? If you're ready to really find what you're looking for. And this is such a common question. And I think that the answer is a lot easier than people perceive. I know people that struggle with this for so long. What am I here to do? What's my purpose? what, I don't want to do this work, but what is it that I need to do? And I think that though there certainly can be one most useful path, one path that kind of really brings together your strengths and your passions in a beautiful way. I think that the range and variety of paths that are available for everyone to excel at and have fun with and make a good living with are probably wider than they think. And the reason I say this is because, number one, they are different. Everyone has, I think, more than one strength, more than one passion, something that really lights them up. And once you figure out those strengths and passions, there's so many different ways to and kind of incorporate them into different industries, different paths, different aspects. So one of the easiest ways to really, really find out to kind of lock down into what you are all about doing, what you're here to do, is what is fun for you? What gets you excited? What can you talk about endlessly for days? What do you love doing? And more importantly than that, what did you like doing early in life? So going back to when you were a child, like 6 or 7 years old, what lit you up? What hobby, what playtime activity really, really got you excited that you can just do for hours and hours and just absolutely have a blast at? And that's a really good way to start, because at that age, that early age, like say 6, 7 years old, that early development, what you likely had was you felt that there was a meeting point of passion, something that you were very into, something that really, really interests you, piqued your interest, and also strength. So something that you tended to be good at. And oftentimes this confluence of strength and of passion tend to express itself in your habits, your hobbies, your play that you like to do when you're 6 or 7. For example, one thing that I constantly did right out the gate, I remember I've always been into writing. Reading and writing were like huge, huge, huge things. To this day, I love anything related to reading and writing. And honestly, what I wanted to do when I was like 6 or 7 was to be a novelist, basically, a writer of stories and books, fiction. And that kind of got sort of railroaded as I grew older, because I didn't receive that there was the message, I guess, there was any value in that. So I started bouncing around doing other things, and I kind of let that get on the back burner, just because, number one, everyone was telling me it was impossible to make a living that way. I was destined to be poor. I wasn't going to be successful. It was going to be a waste of time, and I needed to concentrate on something more concrete. And I made the choice to believe that. So I believed it. And because I believed it, I looked for evidence everywhere that I could get that was true. I found that because that was what I wanted to see. And lo and behold, I left that dream behind as I got older, and just kind of started bouncing around other things. And lo and behold, a lot of other things didn't work out for me, because I already was being presented with my ideal path, and I chose not to pursue it. And I always think all the time, well, what could I have been if I actually had buckled down and remained? I have written so many short stories. I actually have a novel that I've written like 3/4 of, that I have stuck on my computer somewhere. And I always wonder, like, if I had kept going and actually committed to that path, where would I be right now? I'll tell you, there's an alternate universe where, I did what I was supposed to do. I listened to my calling when I was young, and I banged it out. So that was my choice, to go further, to do something else. But this is still a huge strength. For example, my example, anything that's related to writing, which is what I do now, a lot of it, I am all over. So once you find, I can discover some things that you've done when you were a kid, and feel free to journal on it. I mean, you may take some take some time. Not all of us can remember right away things that we were really into that young. So just take some time, take a journal. If an age regression hypnotic session, which is something that I can help you with, is certainly another way to really come back and really bring up the memories that you had when you were young. And once you discover that, it may not be as blatant as that. For example, there's more than one way to work with what you have. So for example, once you find out what you are into, what you really, really enjoy, there are so many different paths to take it. For my example, again, writer. I love writing, and something that I feel like is a strength. I use it here. So even though I'm not a novelist or a novelist per se, I use it for what I do now. As a certified hypnotic coach, I write suggestions for clients. All right. I have written meditations for packages for clients, and I love that work. I like to write outlines for different speeches and in videos and talks that I do. I love it. And it's something that really, really, that skill is something that works into my current work. And it aligns, with I believe what my natural gifts are and my natural passions. And so I believe I am doing the work that I was meant to do, because I'm using this fun strength that's so fun for me, and using it to come into my current work. So, and in that same example, writing can be used in so many different ways. It can be used for everyone needs something written. You can be a copywriter, someone who writes persuasive copy for other companies or from people. You can be a newsletter writer, someone who writes and puts together newsletters for their company. You can be a report writer, a technical writer, a screenwriter, writing films and writing a playwright. There's so many different ways to incorporate one skill. So after you figure out and name a few things that you absolutely love to do, I want you to also think about and brainstorm how you can use those skills to work into your any other industry, and you can really get creative with this. And in fact, if you list, say, I challenge you to list, I'll say at least 15 different ways that you can use your sense of fun that you love to do in an industry. And you can really get creative. Think about how for example, think about how a corporate department could use that skill set. Think about how a nonprofit could use that skill set. Think about how you as an entrepreneur can use that skill set. Think about how you as a freelancer who's selling out your services. Is there anyone that would pay you to either do it for them or to learn how to do it? Okay. So there's different ways for you to really approach this. And I think this is something that's very, very important. I think that when you tap into your love, your passion, something that really lights you up, you tend to get creative. And this full moon in Leo, again, to me, is all about creativity. It's all about creation. And creation and creativity is what is going to heal this world. Whenever we start to create different solutions for problems and for people, this usually comes out of passion and strength. And whenever you are in your element, you're in your flow, you're more likely to create and start to want to take this gift and help others. And I think that's, at the end of the day, is what it's all about. I need you to find your passion and your life work. The world needs you to find your passion and your life work. There's nothing wrong with, doing a normal, working for somebody else and just and just doing your thing and having a good existence that way. But I challenge you, and even if it has to be on the side, even if it has to be a hobby, to find impassioned life work that is fun, that is really, really feels awesome to do. And I believe that will enrich your life, and it also will enrich my life and everyone else's, because when you're shining and you're truly passionate about what you do, the rest of us benefit. You benefit, the world benefits, and just so much beauty is going to be created. Okay? So, I hope that you go out there and you're absolutely finding the work of your heart, the work of your soul, the work that lights you up. And I believe it's just going to give you so much of a more wonderful existence, and it's going to make you so just more proud, more confident, which are also Leo traits. More proud, more confident, more on fire for life when you are spending your time and resources really living out your gifts and living out what excites you. All right. So thank you so much for joining me today for this little vlog. I hope you found it enjoyable. And definitely reach out to me. You can reach me at Keisha at newworldtarot.org. And definitely check out the website as well, www.newworldtarot.org. And I'm on Instagram, New World Mind and Spirit. And I'm also on my Facebook page is New World Mind and Spirit. So all spelled out. Okay. So thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your week. And we will connect soon. Thank you and take care.